this is why it's always so active here. Earth is Universal Stargate 3, and it is also Galactic Stargate 3. That means it's a valuable piece of real estate to a lot of different beings for a lot of different reasons. To our 15-dimensional time matrix, right? It is literally a map of the 12 dimensions that make the 4 density levels in the density levels of matter in our time matrix. Now, the planet has its own Cathara grid core template. The sun has it. The galaxy has it. And the universe, 15-dimensional time matrix, has it. Each one of these places that are, again, consolidated points of standing scalar wave frequency that hold the program for whole dimensional spectrums. Each one of these actually has a space-time coordinate. It's located someplace. And on the macrocosm and the microcosm, there are spots in your body that these things are located. Your own inner, what's called the Templar. And it's about temple pillars, which we'll get to later. But they call it the Templar when it's all together. The planet has stargates, and these are the locations of the stargates. There's something else that the planet has called Q sites, which are another type of stargate that were orchestrated into the natural ones here because the natural ones were damaged. The Q sites are stargates that connect into a place called Inner Earth, which is in what's called the Universal 𝐂𝐂 system, which you'll see in a little while where that is. It is a place. These, the beginning of maps that are used by people who are using spaceships to fly around the skies that we don't believe are there yet, and maps that are used by beings who know how to go up and down the dimensional scale and turn themselves into light and turn themselves into form again. All right, these are the Ascension passages. Stargates are Ascension passages. Ascension is a reality, but it's not because God comes down and zaps you with a bolt of lightning and you go into ecstasy and rapture and get taken up into a cloud. If that happens to you, you better run, because it's probably the Palladians. They like that kind of drama. Pardon me. So, we've literally been given the maps of the stargates. These were known for eons here. These aren't changeable. Even though the Earth rotates and those kind of things, you can have earthquakes. If you have an earthquake, you still have a stargate in the location where the earthquake was. You can have damaged stargates. The grids can get damaged where they don't operate properly anymore. But these are the locations of the 12 primary natural stargates. These are the areas that they're called now. They were called something different a long time ago, but these are the areas they're called now. And again, you'll be getting a copy of all these again. Gosh, you're going to have lots to give to your neighbors, most of you guys. Now, this is a sequence that's easy to keep together, so you can flip through. Okay, what do I know about cosmic structure? There it is, right there, right? What do I know about Merkaba? Right in that section, right? Yeah. All right. Now, this is the universal stargates. The universal stargates are the ones that go up literally the 15-dimensional scale, or the 12 dimensions of 15-dimensional scale. They literally take you out of this time matrix, where the smaller ones on a planetary level, where you could go from the planetary ones to the galactic ones, so you'd have to go to the galactic ones into the universal ones if you wanted to get out of this time matrix, if you wanted to go to another 15-dimensional system or something like that. So it's kind of like grids within grids within grids. Cathara grids within grids within grids. Just like we had spheres within spheres and eggs within eggs within eggs, you have Cathara grids within Cathara grids within Cathara grids, and their core templates. So you have embedded interwoven templates. Now, the main, and it's going to be interesting because we're going back into this with the Phoenix workshop, because they're teaching us some neat stuff about the galactic ones that we didn't know before. But what we've known for a while are the locations of, first of all, the universal ones, the universal gates. This up here in this area is called the Cradle of Lyra, because the D12 gate is in the Lyra star system, what we call the Lyra star system from here. It's a place, its name, true name, is Aramatena, but that is actually what they call the double-double in Lyra. It's a binary system, I guess, up in Lyra, and like it's known on the astronomical charts. So on the astronomical charts, you won't see the name Aramatena, but you will see Lyra double-double. All right. Gate 11 is also in Lyra, and that is called Avion in its true name, and it's called 𝐂𝐒𝐒𝐿. I think that's how they pronounce it in the star charts, right? And then this one, Lyra Vega, holds gate 10. Now, they would be, if you remember the matter density levels, where you're coming from density 5, which is dimension 13, 14, and 15, which is gaseous light, all right? You're coming down in density to the pre-matter liquid light, D12, all right? This is the passage from being in light form, complete light as gaseous light, into beginning the form process. So you go through pre-matter liquid light between D12 down to 11, down to 10. When you start going over to these gates, you start going into the etheric matter densities, then these into the semi-etheric matter densities, which again, the etheric matter are silica-based, semi-etheric are silica and carbon-based, and density 1 is basically carbon-based matter as far as life forms go. So the gates are the gates to the density levels. The universal gates are the gates to the density levels. If you want to leave the time matrix and go visit somebody in another time matrix, you need to pass through these gates. And that means you have to be able to pass through the density levels of matter. Now, to be able to pass through the density levels of matter, you have to be able to do something with what's called your angular rotation of particle spin. That means the units of protons, electrons, and all those particles that science knows you have, and the ones that science doesn't know you have yet, which are the part I, part K, and part M, they all have a different, each dimensional band has a different angle, or axis angle, that units rotate on. And there are very specific shifts in angular rotation of particle spin that are needed to get a density 1, D123 body into, say, density 2, because it has a completely different angular rotation of particle spin than density 1. This is where we get into, when we're doing Merkaba, where the angle of the vertical axis is pointed, because that directs the angular rotation of particle spin. So when we're dealing with gates, each one of them would have their own characteristic angular rotation of particle spin. If a being tried to go through a gate and their bodies were not flexible enough, their template was not able to shift into the particular Merkabic activation that would allow their particle spin to shift into the gate, they could literally spontaneously combust, where their template would shatter if the frequency is too high and their template can't hold it. So it's not that when we talk about stargates, it'd be, oh great, we know where they are, let's go sit on one until it opens. The thing is, right now, even if there is a big problem on the planet, and there is some place to put all these billions of people, if there was a big problem on the planet, most of the people here couldn't be taken off the planet, because they wouldn't even make it through Universal Gate 4, which is in our sun, their solar gate. They wouldn't make it. Their templates would fry. So biologically right now, most people, because our DNA is asleep and it's not doing what it was intended to do, most people couldn't make it through a gate yet. This is what conscious evolution is about. This is why we're doing the flame body activation, Merkaba activation, DNA activation. It's all simultaneous, they're all connected programs. So we can reclaim the ability to do that. So when the opportunity might, after 2012, present itself, where we might actually be able to have an experience of a lifetime or of many lifetimes, we would be ready to be able to handle it, where we could actually go if we found a Stargate and found somebody nice on the other side that said, would you like to come and see? That is a potentiality. It's not a promise. It depends on what happens here in the drama, because it's a danger. Right now, this place is in quarantine, and it has been since 25,500 BC. This is a dangerous place to live, and there's a lot of beings in the universe that don't visit here, because the ability to get trapped here is so easy. You can get trapped here, and you can get your DNA messed up, and you can get stuck where you can't go through gates anymore either, or get home. So, anyway, we'll go back to the gates, just to see where they are. We got Cradle of Lyra up there. That is the first... Lyra is the first system in our 15-dimensional time matrix that was inhabited. All right, the stars in the Lyra system, that was our cradle. That was where the universe, in this particular universe, is always seated, because those three gates are there. In any 15-dimensional time matrix, the three gates of 12, 11, and 10 will be the cradle for that. So whatever system, the star system they would appear in, that is where, and they are fixed gates. They live there, they're in the template there. They can't move from one place to another. You can't pick your Stargate up and carry it with you and move it to another planet. You can interface gates, which has been done a lot on this planet, but you can't move them from their original position. So our cradle of Lyra is in density 4. Then we have gate 9, 8, and 7. Gate 9 is in the Andromeda Galaxy. It's called Mirach. Now this is technically called our galactic core. It's in the Orion system, in Orion's belt. It's called Mentaka, Orion. Our 7 gate is Arcturus, and I believe that's in the booties, or boots, or however you say that constellation. Sirius B is gate 6. The Pleiades, Alcyone, all right? So Alcyone is a star in the Pleiades, but actually Alcyone is also what is called Terra, which is, it used to be Earth. What that means is, in density 2, there's a counterpart planet to Earth, and that planet is called Terra. Earth ended up down here because there was a cataclysm on Terra, and that's literally how this particular solar system was created, by the template blowing partially up there, and it dropping down a whole octave down into the system. But when we see Alcyone, the star that they call Alcyone in the Pleiades cluster, that's actually the other part of this solar system and of Earth. That is Terra. So when we're wanting to go to Terra, we're actually saying we want to go to the Pleiades, or vice versa. Now we also have, in density 3, Earth's counterpart is called Gaia. So this is where you get the Earth, Terra, Gaia, and density 4, which is the original template that Earth came out of, is called Arimatena. And that's actually the divine blueprint for this entire 12 dimensions of this 15-dimensional system. So everything came through the Arimatena template. It had to get here. To get into density, you have to come through those gates.